steal that property, then that's not gonna help you much. But if you say, oh, I thought that was mine, here, you can have it back. Well, it was a mistake then, right? You see what I'm saying? So that's I guess maybe a little bit of ignorance that is excusable. Yes.
Can I help out here, just so everybody understands? Deuteronomy 4:2, in the Bible, the queen defends and swore to defend with all of her power. Says, you shall not add to the words which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you. Coke himself was quoted as saying, if any of the laws of men differ or alter from the 10 Commandments, they're void.
Yeah, that's actually, and Blackstone said that too.
Yeah.
Blackstone, Blackstone was a contemporary of Jefferson. He lived in the mid-1700s. And there's a phrase in the U.S. Declaration of Independence that's taken directly from Blackstone's commentaries on the laws of England. And the phrase is, basically it says that in the very beginning of the Declaration of Independence, it says, because the king has violated the law of nature and nature's God, we're telling him to take a hike. You see what I'm saying? Well, and the law of nature's God, according to Blackstone, is found in the Bible. Okay, so anytime you get anything from the government, it's an implied contract and brings you into their jurisdiction. Anything, I don't care what it is. The king doesn't get anything from the government. Anytime you register for anything, anytime you make application for anything, you give them a power of attorney to make legal determinations for you. What do you think they're doing? When they stop you on the road, they've already made a whole bunch of legal determinations for you, okay? Because if you read in their codes that I'm going to show you, it says that only a person's supposed to have a registration on their vehicle, only a person has to do this, only a person has to do that. So they stop you on the road, they're presuming you're a person. And the reason they're presuming is the operative word, because all presumptions are taken in martial law, and so they're under martial law, and they're imposing their martial law on you is what they're doing, their dictatorship. Well, once you understand what's going on, you can have them running so fast that they won't even... My sister-in-law did this one time. She used to work for the RCMP, and I guess they got her in some speed trap or something, and so they come up behind her, and she rolled the window down and she says, what's your badge number? This is obviously a speed trap. I used to work for the RCMP. And he ran back to his car, and he backed up like about a half a mile or a mile down the road, backed up down the road because he knew that as soon as he turned around, she'd see his license number, right? So he backed up to where it was too far away, so he couldn't see her license, so she couldn't see his license number, and then he turned around and took off. So anyways, if you know what's going on and how to do it, you can have them done. There was as far as the original people's concerned, there's a chief in BC by the name of Joyescu, and he's a de jure chief, and he told me about how the RCMP came out to his reservation, and I don't like using that word, but anyways, come out to his land, and he's the de jure chief, but they have an elected chief there too. And they were seizing some guy's property, somebody's horses and cows and stuff like that, right? And he went out there and he told them, you're not seizing that stuff. And they said, here, we got this warrant. He says, I don't care, you have no authority here, you're not seizing it. And he told them, he says, if you seize that stuff, it's gonna be your worst nightmare. And I'll do it all within the law. And they went and kept piling it on and arguing with them and everything like that. And he said, you're not seizing it. And finally they got it all loaded up. And then they said, well, they said, this guy owes us $160,000, but really we only got about $70,000. But if you're willing to settle for $70,000, we'll take what we got and we won't come back for any more. And he says, no, I'm not settling for that. Unload it, get it. You're not taking it. And then what happened is, I think he told him he's going to fire him too. I think he told him he's going to fire him. This was RCMP. Anyways, then what happened is they started to unload him, right? And he says, no, he says, you're going to put them back where you got them.
Yeah.
So they went and took them and put them back where they got them. And then they left, and a couple days later, the staff sergeant from that RCMP detachment came and asked for his forgiveness. Okay? He knew who he was. Okay?
Which town was this in?
Huh?
What area was that in?
This was in Merritt, BC. This is your chief that lives there. And it's a guy that I met, good guy. And he understands, but most people don't. Most people don't. Once you understand the law, and he doesn't go by, he's Joyescu, and don't ask me to spell it. But actually, if you look on the land patents you got there, there's one proposed land patent that's the Joyescu Nation. And that's how it's spelled, actually. There's Joyescu Nation. T starts with a T. It's the 2-page patent. This one right here. Original people, Joyescu Nation. Anyways, he understood, okay? And he had them running. They went and came and asked for his forgiveness. And he forgave them. And then 2 weeks later, that RCMP staff sergeant was out of there. They had a different one in there. So who knows what happened to him? He might have got shipped off to the Yukon Territory or something. But the point is you got to know who you are. He knew who he was. He knew enough of this stuff that he was able to just tell him to, you're not taking it, I'm not letting you, and you can't use guns, okay? I mean, that's in my opinion, that's what happened. And we'll get into this later more, is the Crown sent people out to sell the Indians guns, so then the Indians would make war, and they'd have an excuse to do what they did. Same thing like in Avatar, okay, you see the movie Avatar? They turn you into their enemy, so then they can make war on you. That's exactly what went on, in my opinion. And I'll bet you it comes out that that's what happened too. But anyway, once you understand what's happening, they have unlimited money. They got more guns than we got. And there's all sorts of sheeple out there that are brain dead that'll go and kill themselves for them. And so, you know, the best thing you can do is you use their system against them. And that's what this procedure is using their system against them. It's using common law. It's using our system, actually. They recognize our system. They know that common law exists. But we're not using it, we're not operating it. We need to start operating it.
The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but for tearing down strongholds.
There you go. Okay. So they come up and they make legal determinations for you. If they make a legal determination for you, think about it. Aren't they representing you? Isn't that what they're doing? That's exactly what they're doing. They're representing you. Do they have authority to represent you? I didn't give it to them. And so that's the first thing I do in my documents is I tell them, if you think you represent me, you're fired. Convert yourself into a slave. That's what you're doing. And I can show you that too. As a matter of fact, they put it right in front of your face. When they spell your name on their ID, it's all block capital letters. And I can show you in Latin, that's a slave. That's exactly what that is a slave. All statutes are written very carefully and most do not apply to members of the sovereignty. 99% of the time the government is technically correct. It's not up to the government to tell you that you're a member of the sovereignty. You think about it. We're all products of the government's